Simultaneous interpreter or both? Which languages?
Mütercim. Mütercim. Tercüman bilirden bilir. Mütercim birden ikileri ikiden bilir.
Genel.
Tercüme olmayı ben de çok istiyorum. Bilmiyorum yani I need help. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start. Yes. Not bad.
Hoş geldiniz.
Tamam. Courses.
Güzel görünüyor mu? Güzel nasıl görünüyor
Güzel görünüyor. Yalnız dediğim gibi biraz bu tarafa gel bakayım. Ha, şimdi daha güzel görünüyor. Biraz daha gel ama o sefer oraya kaplayacaksın. Çünkü şöyle bir köşede duruyorsun.
Tamam. Ekranda alıyor mu?
Ekranı alıyor.
Ha süper.
Şimdi dur orada. Tamam. Bekle. Bir dakikan var. Arkadaşlar Türkiye'den misiniz? Hangi üniversite? Çok güzel. Hacettepe Yabancılar Eğitimi, İstanbul Üniversitesi İlgi Öğretmenliği. Go ahead Metin.
Good morning. Metin Yurtbaşı. My presentation is on the topic of teaching sentential intonation through proverbs. Segmental elements such as stress, pitch, juncture, and linkers are language universals. Unlike their being uttered naturally in the mother tongue, without prior training, the suprasegmental elements need to be learned systematically in the target language. Among many other techniques of sentential pronunciation teaching techniques for second language students, exercises with proverbs and the target language can be utilized effectively to acquire natural rhythm and intonation, thus addressing to their interest in traditional wisdom and common sense. Students benefit from proverbs and the target language, along with their grammatical and lexical importance, and can be taught to produce acceptable pronunciation and intonation in their new language. Pronunciation teachers, going one step further from word stress to sentential intonation, by working on a broad transcriptions, may produce a crystal clear pronunciation, contributing to their better communication. Proverbs in the target language may be excellent resource materials for teaching pronunciation, stress, and especially sentence intonation, along with their many other uses in the field of ELT. The broad transcriptions of some English proverbs and IPA symbols featuring primary and secondary stress, pitch, and juncture characteristics with relevant signs, leaving unstressed syllables unmarked, and clearly pointing out linkers can be effectively used to teach applied phonetics and phonology. The teaching of pronunciation and sentential intonation so far has been totally unsuccessful. One of the reasons many earlier practices have failed to improve students' pronunciation is that they consisted of markings only on the prominent stress on certain syllables, such as An apple a day keeps the doctor away, discarding the pitches, the stress variants, and the junctures altogether. On the other hand, with a finer tuning provided by the suprasegmental features in their broad transcription, such items could be better distinguished and more clearly expressed. An apple a day, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Now let's see this proverb in its broad phonemic transcription, adding all these relevant segmental elements on it and analyzing. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Because this approach has been ignored and neglected, foreign language students have failed in their effective oral communication and meaning-conveying performances. Now let us explore this pitch, stress, juncture, and intonation inversals in some English proverbs, as they correlate between the modifiers and those modified by their primary and secondary stresses and their linking processes. In a bid to address the attention of the Spanish speakers in the audience, some well-known Spanish proverbs will also be studied here. Following this methodology, learners of the Spanish language will also be able to pronounce, for instance, such sovereignties quotes more effectively to delight Spanish ears in a crystal clear articulation. Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you go with and I'll tell you who you are. Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. I do hope the participants in this presentation will appreciate the special techniques of pronunciation teaching, specifically that of suprasegmentals in IPA broad transcription, showing, supported by all relevant suprasegmental features, both in English and Spanish, demonstrated in their programs. What are suprasegmental features and how they are marked in IPA? Suprasegmental features are the phenomena extending beyond a single sound segment, considered to be pitch, stress, and juncture, which collectively form intonation, also to be marked on broad transcription. The elements of intonation, namely juncture and pitch, help to break the stream of sound into manageable groups and give additional clues to meaning by either highlighting particular syllables further or assisting the comprehension of the grammatical or pragmatic function. Suprasegmental features are language universals with their own particularities. The correct use of intonation is an essential feature of communicative competence, and erroneous intonation leads to communication breakdown. Although many teachers consider the pronunciation of individual phonemes as of utmost importance, some of them lack emphasis on the prosthetic elements, another term for intonation or suprasegmental features. How are suprasegmental notions marked in IPA? In the connected speech, some particular elements of linking, assimilation, and deletion are essential to make understanding easier for the hearer. Linking is a method of connecting the last sound of one syllable to the first sound of the next, such as left eye, the apples. In assimilation, which is another universal feature of spoken language, one sound adapts to the characteristics of a neighboring sound, such as kubok, uju. Deletion appears in the form of elision and emphasis in received pronunciation. We can see this in such examples as West Central Anatolia or chocolate, where elision occurs. So that's in the omission of initial E in excuse me. That's emphasis. Juncture is a suprasegmental feature that indicates the borders of words and groups of words in speech. The Prague school referred to as such elements as boundary signals, neatly summarizing their role. Juncture is a sound quality signaling a pause or pauses. Junctures are defined as perceptible differences in word segmentation. Pause junctures are characterized as the intervals between words and phrases and clauses shown as commas and colons or semicolons indicated as shorter or longer of such pauses. The punctuation marks do give out indications of which junctures should be used for which punctuation mark. Namely, following juncture sign corresponding to a period, rising juncture sign corresponding to a question mark, and sustained juncture sign or corresponds to a comma, semicolon, colon, dash. By word stress or accent, what is meant is a greater loudness, change of pitch or greater syllable length. A distinction here between word stresses, compound word stresses, and sentence stresses must be clearly stated, because combination of various levels of stresses such as primary, secondary, tertiary, etc. do present special features in sentence intonation where they are expected to coexist harmoniously. As most nouns in English, the stressed syllable appears at the initial position. Verbs tend to have their prominent stressed syllables toward the end. As for the connected speech, the secondary stress occurs several times within the intonation unit, both before and after the tone. Pitch is an element that brings music to intonation. Everyone has a different voice, and in general, men's are lower than women's and children's. Normal conversation moves between middle and high pitch, with low pitch typically signaling the end of an utterance. The extra high level is generally used to express a strong emotion such as surprise, great enthusiasm, or disbelief, and the pitch level is often used in contrastive or emphatic stress. Pitch is the most complex of the suprasegmental elements to apply to utterances, because there are a number of different patterns to consider, as well as the relationship between different types of clauses and punctuation. The following juncture is used to pinpoint the end of an utterance. The rising juncture shows a question utterance, and the pause juncture shows a sustained terminal break or a level break. The repetitive juncture is used to show the longer period of pause between utterances. Let us review in detail on how proverbs are transcribed in IPA symbols. First, we have two examples, one from English and the other from Spanish, to exemplify such suprasegmental features on their IPA block transcription detailed analysis. A twig must be bent while it's green. A twig, juncture, must be bent, double juncture, while it's green. Following juncture. In the former part of the sentence, a twig must be bent. Twig is separated from the rest of the portion. A twig must be bent by a short pause juncture. The group must be bent is preserved intact. The primary stress on must is the prominent position, and bent falls into the secondary stress. Between the first and the second part of the sentence, there is a sustained juncture. A twig must be bent while it's green. In the latter part of the sentence, while it's green, while its portions are connected with a linger, where green is in the prominent position, prominent modifying position, and while remains as the modifyee. Thus they correlate with one another in the reverse order, compared to the former part of the sentence. Twig must be bent. The final following juncture indicates the ending of the utterance. Now we have another item from Spanish, a famous Spanish proverb, already quoted, with which many of you must be familiar. Dime con quién andas, y te diré quién eres. Tell me with whom you go, I tell you who you are. Dime con quién andas, y te diré quién eres. The sentence is basically broken into two, with a comma after quién andas. Dime con quién andas. Thus a repetitive juncture time to represent the long break in the E. Dime con quién andas, y te diré quién eres. The first part of the sentence, dime con quién andas, is also split after dime. Dime con quién andas, with a first syllable stress, then a triple stress combination dominated by the quién pronunciation, that is, con quién andas, having prominence on the word quién, leaving the two neighboring words con and andas in the secondary position. Con quién andas, con quién andas. The linker ties the last consonant of quién and the first vowel of andas, giving an example of linking in Spanish. Con quién andas. Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. The second part of the sentence, y te diré, is also broken into with a short pause juncture after diré. E falls into the secondary position because re, the future, always has the prominence of the last syllable in future tense. Diré, it falls into the secondary position, yielding to the strong accented re final prominent syllable of diré, y te diré, and quién eres. Linkages here between quién and res, while quién is primary prominence reduces the stress last syllable of res into secondary stress. The sentence ends with a foreign juncture to stop the utterance. ¿Quién eres? Now we have some other English proverbs with their suprasegmental features, marked on IPA broad transcription. A twig must be bent while it's green. Women must have their wills while they live. Women must have their wills while they live, because they make none when they die. You are never too old to learn. A bird in the hand, stop. A bird in the hand is worth. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. A fool may ask more questions in an hour than a wise man can answer in 7 years. He who with the daughter win must with the mother win first begin. A woman's most potent weapon is her tongue, and she never lets it rest. A woman's most potent weapon is her tongue. Stop, and she never lets it rest. The pleasure of what we enjoy is lost. The pleasure of what we enjoy is lost by coveting more. Your son is your son till he gets himself a wife, but your daughter is your daughter throughout her life. Your daughter is your daughter throughout her life. You may lead a horse to the water. Stop. Juncture. You may lead a horse to the water. You may lead a horse to the water. Longer stop. You may lead a horse to the water, but you cannot make him drink coffee. So there's a difference between the two. The same applies to all languages in the universe. To one of the host country and the host audience, I would like to quote some Spanish proverbs. A caballo regalado, no le mires el diente. A caballo regalado, no le mires el diente. Al buen entendedor, pocas palabras bastan. Árbol que nace torcido, jamás su tronco endereza. A quien madruga, Dios le ayuda. Barriga llena, corazón entiende. Cría huevos y te sacarán los ojos. Del dicho el hacho hay en mucho buen trecho. Es más fácil ver las pajas en ojo ajeno, ajo ajeno. Es más fácil ver la paja en ojo ajeno que la abeja en el coquín. Más vale pájaro en mano, más vale pájaro en mano que yéndose volando. Si tu mujer quiere tirarte de un tejado, si tu mujer quiere tirarte de un tejado, procura que sea un bajo. Procura que sea uno bajo, mayormente. To conclude my presentation, Proverbs reflecting the traditional richness of any culture in universal vein, are also valuable materials in the teaching of the lexical, grammatical, and phonetic elements of the target language. Features of oral communication, such as clear articulation and intonation, are essential elements of language students' skill in getting their meaning across efficiently in the L2 environment. Therefore, proverbs must be taught more often by pronunciation teachers to give them this skill while dealing with the target language's phonetics and speech rhythm, technically speaking, the segmental and suprasegmental structure. Students who are able to use L2 proverbs to the point in their utterances always feel more confident and at home with the culture of the natives they are associated with. As they quote such proverbs, they not only demonstrate their skill to communicate with them,